Well, good morning, and I'd like to celebrate National Park number 35 for me, the beautiful White Sands National Park. Not very many people here so far. Visitor Center is fairly sparsely populated, just me and one other car in the parking lot. And I think this is a perfect time because it's pretty cool out, and it's not supposed to be scorching hot today, thank the Lord. So let's check it out. Walking over to the Visitor Center here. Man, what a beautiful morning. Definitely going to do the scenic drive, and yes, I plan to hike on some of the dunes, at least the ones that they'll allow you to hike on. Well, don't open till 9, so I'll stop back by here on my way out. Once I got in the gate at White Sands, I pulled over here to just take a look at this vast expanse of land. Of course, a car is going to come by just as I'm making this video. Pretty cool signboard here. Got a lot of information about how the White Sands National Monument was formed, and it's also a national park. But if you look way off in the distance, you can see the beginning of the dunes. And I'll be honest with you, when I first got here, I thought this was a little underwhelming. But let me tell you, you get a few miles into there and see all those dunes, your mind will be blown. I just stopped at a really big turnout here, and looking at the road in front of us there, that is actually packed sand, and actually it's gypsum, and it is just like concrete. I'm standing on some right here in the parking lot, and it's pretty firm. But what's really amazing is the sand just goes on for what seems like eternity. There is the handy old rental car. But man, would you look at this. It's about 55 degrees here this morning, but I expect it's going to warm up as the day progresses. Gonna zoom in on that dune over there. Boy, look at all the wind-formed contours. I love how the shadowing really brings it out too. Okay, I'm over here at the Alkali Flat Trail. It's a 5-mile loop. So I'm trying to see a lot of stuff today, so I don't think I'm going to do this trail, but I'm going to hike part of it. Pretty neat trail. Boy, you are literally out in the middle of nowhere. Got a warning sign here. I only brought 2 bottles of water, so that's really not enough. But it's a pretty cool trail, looks like. I think I'm gonna hike part of it though. I believe I'm gonna climb up on top of this dune and have a look around. This sand is almost like powder, real fine. But I wanted to climb a dune in this park and have a look around. So here we go. And by the looks of the footprints, I believe a lot of people before me have done the same thing. Oh man, what a view. Wow. Good Lord. Holy moly. Have a look at this. I want to do a 360 pan. Good heavens. Wow. Okay, so I've come across from the other dune, and I'm now trying to go to the top of this one. It's kind of exciting because this is so slippery. And the sand is really just amazing. It's almost like talcum powder. But I'm going to get up there on top of the dune. That one over there in the distance is where I just came from. Boy, you talk about something pretty. Let's press on. Now, looking at this track down here, if I was a betting man, I would say that's got Sidewinder written all over it. And now we're just about to crest the summit of this dune. And I'm delighted that I'm not out of breath. Oh man, look at the view. Wow. You can tell there's been a few people up here. Boy, look at that view. Let's zoom in. You can feel the weather starting to warm up a little bit. See the parking lot down there. And people bring their sand sleds. It looks like a lot of fun. Here we are on another stop at the White Sands National Park. This is the Playa Trail. I think it might be pronounced Playa, but anyway, looks like it ought to be interesting. I like the way they have lots of signs around here warning you about making sure you take your water, take your phone. Believe it or not, there is phone service in here. It's a little bit spotty, but it does work pretty good. So I'm going to walk down this trail. Wish the little wind would blow. There's a fly that's annoying the daylights out of me right now. But man, look at this landmark. The landscape's just unbelievable. I see a couple of flags here, and I don't know what they are for. Looks like they're marking something there. Oh wow, this is neat. I can see how it would change color depending on if it's been raining or not. You know, one thing I do really like about these national parks, amongst many others, is they all have trails that are suitable for some people. You don't have to be the most in shape person to hike some of them. I've done some that are a little bit more than probably some people, and then I've done a whole lot less than others. Here we have a signboard. Looks like the weather and the heat have taken its toll on it. It's a desert oasis. And if you look out there, there you see it. Coming up on another signboard up here. Well, fortunately, a nice little gust of wind came and blew that fly away. So I am proud to say I'm fly free right now. Just add water. White fluffy crust, December through March. April through June it starts to turn brown. And then when you get the big old storms, July and August, boy, I'd hate to be out here in a lightning storm. Good Lord. Those of you who know me know that I don't operate really good with bad lightning. Let's take a walk down into the area here and take a look at it. Yeah, you can feel it crunching under my feet. You see down there, Couple of pieces that have cracked and broken off. And then looking way up there where my car is, that's the trailhead. I'm the only one here this morning in this area, and quite honestly, the park is not very heavily occupied. My plan is to spend a good portion of the day here and then probably go get a late lunch later and come back to catch the sunset. I've heard the sunset here is just stunning, and I don't want to miss it. Now, you talk about complete isolation. There is not a sound out here except the sound of my voice right now. I've hiked out into the back country a little bit of the Playa Trail, and in fact I am smack dab in the middle of the Chihuahuan Desert. I'll tell you, this gives a whole new meaning to isolation. It is beautiful in its own right though, but I can only imagine in a couple months this place will be absolutely staggering with the heat. And looking down this wash over into the playa itself, just beyond breathtaking. If you hear that noise in the distance, it sounds like they're doing some kind of an afterburner test on a jet over at Holloman Air Force Base. Sounds pretty neat. Well, going on up further on the trail, there's a signboard up ahead here. Wetter, bigger, and badder. That's interesting. Well, I've made it to the end of the trail, and you can see the end of the playa area here, which I would love to see this after a really good rain. I bet it would look really neat, full of water, different colors. And then if you look way off in the distance, you can see my rental car. Right across the street, or the road I should say, is a nature trail, and I think what I'm going to do is when I get back to the car is hit the water bottle and then go over there and check it out also. Well, after exploring the Playa Trail, I'm actually working my way back towards the car right now. It looks like another car is pulled in with some folks walking down here. Hope they enjoyed it as much as I did. It's not a bad hike, and really pretty much anybody can do it. Well, just like that, we're just about back to the car. That was a fun little hike. I enjoyed that. I noticed they got signs in here warning you about snakes. And I can assure you, you don't have to tell me twice. I saw some sidewinder tracks on a dune earlier. Let's hydrate a little bit and go check out the Dune Life Trail. Okay, I just arrived at the Dune Life Nature Trail, and looks like there was a group of people just finished, and I probably just drank about a whole liter of water, and I've got a little bit with me also. So I'm going to walk out here and check it out. Got plenty of signs here warning you about taking water, being prepared. I do a lot of hiking and I enjoy it, but one thing I definitely make sure I don't do is become a statistic. Years ago, I got dehydrated at a glider field, and it was amazing how quick it snuck up on me. The only fix for it was a lot of water and some sleep, and then I felt fine. Well, you can go left or you can go right. I think I'll take the left one. Just about to the top now. Wow. Signboard here showing all the different life here. Boy, it's really starting to heat up too. Okay, so starting on the walk over here. Man, this is pretty. Goodness gracious. Down into a pretty remote area of the nature trail, and it is in its own right just beautiful. It's really neat to see what all is out here. Here we have another signboard, best den ever. I like it because they got signboards up all over the place, so you never really lose your way. I think what I'm going to do is hike over there and then climb up on top of that dune and then work my way back around. Well, I've almost made it to the top of this dune, and in the distance you can see the San Andreas Mountains. There's some big ones. Let's go ahead and summit this dune, have a look around. Oh wow, what a view. Goodness gracious. I probably didn't need to climb this dune, but it was here and I like a challenge. Well, man, will you have a look? Walk over here. You look off in the distance and that's the trailhead. I liked it. I went ahead and climbed this dune. The view is unbelievable. Good gracious. Well, hiking to this summit was a little challenge, but boy was it fun. I think I'm gonna start making way back to the car now. It'll give me roughly a mile of hiking. I just drank about half my water supply.
Cactus. Who? Cactus.
Texas?
Yeah. Cactus.
Oh, cactus. I was going to say Texas. Okay, cactus. That's a good one. However, I want you to remind me when I show you the secrets to white sands, bring up the word cactus. Okay? What else?
Sunny.
Sunny. Hot.
Dry.
Desolate.
Low elevation. What about all this stuff that you see around you? Sand. Do you think about that when you hear the word desert? Yeah.
But Antarctica is a desert.
Say again?
Antarctica is a desert.
Oh, you ruined my punchline.
Sorry.
That's okay. So the definition of a desert is an area that gets less than 10 inches of rain a year. And yes, she is correct. Antarctica is considered a desert. And I have been there. And trust me, there's no sand. It is not hot. It is not dry.
There's no cactus.
There's no cactus. There's a lot of snow and ice and water. Okay? So it's not what we would call dry, but because it gets less than 10 inches of rain a year, it is considered a desert. Now, what they don't tell you in the brochures when you go to Antarctica is it has lots and lots and lots more of penguin poop. And they don't tell you that. So when you get there, it's kind of a shock, but it makes sense if you think about it, right? Because that's where they live. And thank God it's frozen. What year did it become a park?
Before 1916.
Correct. But when? 1872.
Wow. Okay.
Now again, I learned that when I worked at Yellowstone. They made you learn those things. They also made you learn that we don't call them buffalo, we call them bison.
What about Yosemite?
Yosemite was theoretically number 3 because most people do not know. Myself was included in that group. Mackinac, up in the Great Lakes area, was actually our second national park. They decommissioned it, made it a state park, and that everybody thinks Yellowstone is our second national park, but that's not exactly correct. Extent of the white sand dunes, 275 square miles of it. The green outline is actually the boundary of the national park. So you can see a considerable amount of the white sand dunes are not within the park boundary. Okay, only 42% of the sand dunes are within the park boundary. Who controls the rest of it?
Military.
The military. So the missile range, to be exact, we are surrounded on all sides.
These are calcite dunes.
You're looking for clothes, but it's really beautiful. The calcite from America.
Heel first. It's easier if you heel first. So if you want to see some tracks these look like lizards. Oh, yeah. Those that look like lizards.
And then this is the other one. I want the one with the 4 dots.
When there was a big lake, listen to me, when there was a big sea here, I'm sure you remember the word Permian Sea. Well, this whole area was covered by the Permian Sea. And remember back in those days, we had one large continent called Pangaea. All the continents were stuck together. Okay, well, 250 million years to about 70 million years ago, this sea existed. And a lot of critters and creatures lived in and around the sea. And of course, when they died, their skeletons and shells settled down to the bottom of the sea. We also had a lot of volcanic activity in this area. Not volcanoes that you think of like I do, like from Hawaii, or Mount St. Helens, where the top blows off and then the lava flows down the mountain. We have a lot of fractures and cracks, and the magma would seep up from the core, come to the surface, and then we would have these lava flows. So if you go north towards Carrizozo and then west on 380, we have what we call the Valley of Fire. So we have a big surface area of lava fields that are there. So when the lava came to the surface, it spewed off all kinds of gas and ashes. One of the gases was sulfur. And of course it would blow up into the sky, and then it would settle down slowly but surely into the sea. When the sea level lowered significantly, and when it lowered, the concentration of the salts in the sea, as well as the seawater, became warmer, the sulfur would combine with oxygen already suspended in the water. It would create a sulfate. That sulfate would then, because it was cooking in this very low-level sea, it cooked with the calcium that came from the skeletons and shells of all those critters and creatures that died. And we had calcium sulfate form, and then it would attach to 2 water molecules, and that's where we get gypsum. That this particular plant had flavonoids. I didn't know what the heck a flavonoid was, so I had to look it up. And Google said it had many municipal properties. It helped with brain health, heart disease, antioxidant, antidepressant. I thought, oh, I should.
Well, now we're making the climb up the final dune to catch the sunset. And it looks like the ranger's timing is right on. You can still see the sun hitting the top of that dune. She's very passionate about what she does, and therefore everybody gets a great tour. Oh man. Wow. That's $1 million view. Have a look at this. zoom in.
I'm going to tell you, don't get too.
Okay, the sun has just set behind that distant peak.
Yep.
And it's just amazing to see how much the lighting has changed on these dunes. Gone are the shadows. You still see the contours to a certain point. And the distant mountains over there, you have light hitting them. What is the name of those mountains in the distance?
Those are the Sacramento Mountains.
Sacramento and San Andreas.
Andreas.
Okay, great. Well, those are the Sacramento.
Sierra Blanca all the way up there, the peak.
Let me get a video. That distant tall peak is called Sierra Blanca. It has a lot of Apache heritage to it. And now you can see
And when you're ready, folks, come on over
Peaks
this
over there.
way.
sky's starting to get a little bit of color.
Now, what's amazing about the saber-toothed cats
Let's
is
take a look
they
at the
have
sunset.
short, stubby legs,
Starting to get some color in the clouds.
predator. So they would lay in wait in the weeds, and not weeds, in the grasses and the bushes until their prey came close enough.
What a
Then
way
they
to
would
cap off a
rip
day
out
at
more of
White
their
Sands.
stomachs and their intestines, and the animals would bleed to death. Remember I talked to you a little bit about the camels? Well, we had ancient camel populations here, and of course we have loads of Colombian mammals. So you know on TV where you see these big herds of elephants? Well, we had big herds of mammals.
Want to walk around and show about 270 degrees of sunset sky. Boy, did we hit the jackpot tonight.
Oh, look at what I see!
Great Scott. Wow.
Not too bad.
Mm.
Bye.